The Cheeseboy 628 Show, starring Cheeseboy 628.
Hey YouTube, what's going on? This is Cheeseboy628 here today, giving you a UU tier Pokemon Showdown battle. I have been looking in the comments recently, and from that Wi-Fi battle I recently posted, you guys have been telling me how you've been excited about my more optimistic attitude, more exciting personality, so I'm definitely trying to make myself much more exciting in my many videos to come, so thank you for your feedback. Anyway, you may recognize this team from my 500 subscriber special with my Normal Gem Explosion Bronzong, Life Orb, Physical Arcanine, Specs Zapdos, Trick Lagging Tail Sableye, Physically Defensive Hitmontop, and Specially Defensive Empoleon. Now my opponent's team is extremely threatening, and all I have to do really is get Empoleon in to take out that Rhyperior, and Zapdos should have a good time getting off some Specs Volts, which is gaining some momentum, and hopefully being able to take out the rest of his team. So let's see how this battle goes. So I'm going to start out right with my Sableye, try to get a trick off, cause some shenanigans maybe with a Willow if he brings in Rhyperior, but he does bring in Raikou, and those things are pretty darn fast, so I'm going to get that Lagging Tail off, make him ridiculously slow now, and just go for the taunt in case he tries setting up on me. And I am specially defensive, but I do not take that well at all, so I'm going to go down. But that is alright, because now I can just come up with my Bronzong here, threaten him with that EQ since he's ridiculously slow. He's going to go for that T-Bolt, and I'm just max HP, max attack, and adamant. But for only being max HP and Raikou being at +1, I took the T-Bolt fairly well. And then, predicting him to possibly switch out, I just go for the Gyro Ball and straight up OHKO that Hunt Crow. Then he brings in Raikou the next turn, and I'm not really sure why, because Lagging Tail means that your moves will always go last in that form of priority. So, now I bring in Heracross, and I'm like, no way, sir, I am not letting you set up with that Mox. So I'm going to bring in him on top, easily wall that Heracross, go for the Toxic for that switch into Virizion, and now it turns out he's actually a Calm Mind variant. So I'm timid max speed, but I am Specs, and seeing that he outspeeds here is telling me that he's max speed timid as well. So that's just good information to note that he's not bulky. So I'm just going to go right into Arcanine here, hope I can take a hit. He does land that Focus Blast, but I do live because I'm freaking loyal. Good job, buddy. So my Arcanine is able to take him out, but it is a double down. Now he brings in his Blastoise here, and I just bring in my Hitmontop because all he has left is physical attackers and this Blastoise. And here we just exchange Toxics. So both of us are going to be withered down. I don't really need to get my rocks up anyway now, since most of his pokes don't really care for rocks anymore. So he just goes for the Scald here. Of course he gets the burn, just hacking me out like a freaking mofo. But that's alright. I think I will deal. So I'm just going to go for the Scald here, just to get a bit more damage on that Blastoise, and turns out he just goes for the Roar here. Now my Bronzong is in, but I'm kind of scared of getting burned from that Scald, so I'm going to switch out, go into my Empoleon. Turns out he brings in Heracross, and there is no way that I can stay in here. So I'm just going to go right into Hitmontop, and the problem is, the CC does a lot, even at -1, so I am definitely in a pickle here. I know he's going to switch out, but the problem is I just need to keep my Hitmontop in good health, but I go for the CC, do a decent chunk on that Blastoise, but my Hitmontop can only take a couple more hits, which is definitely not good, because otherwise the Heracross can go for CCs and my Zapdos still won't appreciate it. So I'm going to have to switch out right in my Empoleon here, take that Scald. The Toxic is withering down that Blastoise, but he doesn't really have something to switch in, so he's going to have to keep taking those Scalds until he goes down. And with a mixture of Scald and Burn on me as well, I'm starting to wither away too. And the problem is that Heracross could just come in next time, just go for some CCs, and I'm not going to be having a good time. So that is probably exactly what he's going to switch into now. Turns out he does exactly that, but I have to go into him on top. I have to get that Intimidate. If all else fails, I could just go into Zapdos afterwards and he'd be at neutral attack, and I just have to hope I can take a hit. He actually goes for the Mega Horn here, which is definitely a weird play. I would definitely recommend CC. But now he brings in Rhyperior here, way too bulky, takes that way too nicely. That's got to be physically defensive since I'm adamant max attack. And then he goes for the Rock Blast here. I'm just going to keep on going for EQs. I've got to wither this thing away. So I go for the EQ once again. He's almost dead. He goes for the Dragon Tail and actually hits this time, and my Empoleon comes in. So now I'm free to go for the Scald. I'm definitely going to outspeed. Rhyperior is ridiculously slow, and all he has left is that Heracross, and the problem is this thing could actually potentially sweep my team right now. So I have to go into him on top here. I know I'm going to die from a CC, but he goes for the Mega Horn. And I was really confused on that play because of accuracy wise, but I guess he's hoping that Heracross's natural bulk will be able to take a Specs T-Bolt, not knowing that I have the Heat Wave. But now he goes for the Mega Horn, and I barely live here. Able to take him out with that Specs Heat Wave. Thankfully I don't miss, and I'm able to take him out. If I didn't survive here, it definitely would have been over. It was a really close game, and I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all for watching. Like, comment, sub, and until later, peace.